Because what people don't understand, the human body is powerful, is more powerful than we actually um, realize. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of it has to do with our thoughts and has to do with choices and decisions. The human brain, through the five senses, right? The five senses. And what are your five senses? Your five senses are smell, is sight, is touch, is hearing, and taste. Now, through the five senses, it is able to mimic other things, and it's also able to copy other things and do certain things in order to survive.
They already heard that I won.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
Nobody did hear that you
Yeah.
won.
Yep.
I'll battle
I
anybody in this.
unpaused it.
In this.
I
In this.
unpaused it and I put I won.
Oh, you unpaused it. Do not believe anything that happened because I was not present. Talking about you unpaused.
Yeah, I wasn't present either here.
Yeah.
You're talking all kinds of smack.
No, I'm just talking about the
Yeah,
human. I didn't say
smack.
anything about winning or nothing.
Talking smack.
We can. I said part two. We can engage back into this. This is not. You can step back on the battlefield, my love. Let's step back on the battlefield if you chose to.
Look,
No.
there's nothing for me to battle anymore. I already know I won.
No, you didn't win anything.
Yes, because
What
your
was I gonna win?
argument is supporting my case.
No.
Yes.
What it is
Your
is
argument
this.
is supporting my case.
All I said in the beginning, right? All I said in the beginning, I feel that any human being, right? Any human being.
You're contradicting yourself.
No, I'm not. Any human being is able to mimic certain things if it wants to. If it wants to, right? If it wants to. Now, a human being can learn so much shit, right? We learn so much shit just by watching it and touching and everything like that, and it just goes into our subconscious. We don't really be paying attention to it. Once we get up to it again, our memory kicks in and be like, you know what? I've seen that shit before, but it does not know how to respond in that situation. It just say, I remember it. Now, once you see something and you figure it out, because the human body and the human brain is a problem-solving machine. So what it wants to do is it wants to be able to solve shit. So when it sees something, it wants to solve it, put it into the brain in order for it, when it sees it again, it will be able to perform effectively in order to ensure survival on this planet. All I'm saying to you is this. A male is not going to move his neck Michael Jackson-like.
Michael Jackson is a male.
Right. Well, let me finish.
Okay.
He's not going to move unless it is beneficial to him as a male. Right? He's not going to just normally do that shit. Now, if he has an attitude problem, now girls do it when they have attitude problems, right? Girls be like, oh, blah, 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 move their neck right there, right? Now, if a male has an attitude problem.
Not all women, though. Not all females.
All females can do it.
Nope.
Right? All females can do it. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying to you is, when a male has an attitude, right? He's probably not going to fucking move his neck like that.
That's an opinion and not a true statement.
He's not going to move his neck like that unless it is beneficial to him.
That's hearsay. That's hearsay. Yeah.
Unless it's beneficial to him. No,
hearsay.
it's not. Because that's what every human being does.
It's hearsay and it's opinions. It's
every human being produces the action
statement.
based on what it does for the human being. Every human being on this earth produces an action and a decision and a choice based on what it does for that particular human being. And usually a lot of times it doesn't even take in consideration of another human being when it makes those choices and decisions. Right? So whatever helps the human being is a self-sufficient a self-sufficient what's the word? Machine, right? So the human being is every single day the human being wants to do what's best for itself. But the problem is, in this society, sometimes we don't do what's best for ourselves. We do best for other people that's around us. So we lose ourselves a lot of times, what makes us feel like not really a perfect human being that we want to. A lot of us be saying like, man, I need to start thinking about myself. Man, I should have did that for myself. You say that for a certain reason, right? The human being is supposed to be out here every day doing for self, right?
Yes.
In order to be able to survive.
But you are not told, you don't think that on your own.
I don't think what on my own. Or me or the human being?
A child, a baby, doesn't think on their own to the fact of, I need to do that for myself.
Yes, it does.
No.
Yes, it does. I'm gonna give you an example.
Everything is taught.
No, I'm gonna give you an example. Now, say, oh my goodness.
What happened?
I don't know. Something fell. And something fell right here on my head, right here. All right. Okay.
You keep.
I don't know. I guess I keep doing that, but we're going to keep on with this conversation.
Oh my God.
We're not going to let that distract us at all. So you can do that, and I'm going to say this.
What fell on your head?
It didn't fall actually on my head. Right? Now, if you look at a baby, right? A baby wants what the fuck it wants.
No.
That's why a baby cries when it can't get what it wants. That's why when a baby sees us doing something or wants an apple or wants some candy, and just say the parents be like, no, you can't have that candy. The parent been teaching that baby, you know what I'm saying, that you're not supposed to have.
What about babies that don't cry?
What are you talking about?
There's babies that don't cry.
I'm not talking about whether babies cry or not. What I'm saying is to you is babies, even babies want what they want. Because a baby is going to cry. When a baby cries, it wants what it wants. That's why it's crying. It's telling you, I need some milk. I need some comfort. I need some fucking warm air. I need something from you, right? Because it's telling you what it wants. And if it doesn't get what it wants, it's usually going to keep fucking crying.
It doesn't know
right?
what it wants.
It does know what it wants.
It doesn't know that its diaper
That's
needs
why.
to be changed.
Yeah, that's why it cries, because it's expecting the people in the environment to know.
It does not know. All it knows is that there's something weird on my butt and it doesn't feel good.
Right. So what does the baby do? What does the baby do when it feels that?
It needs to be changed.
But what does the baby? When a baby feels that on his butt, or feel any discomfort on his soul, the baby cries. It doesn't have words yet, right?
But it does not know about a diaper until it's actually introduced to it.
Well, it's not asking for a diaper. What it's asking for is be able to get the mushy shit off his ass and off his body, the discomfort.
Oh, did you hear the baby say that?
No, the baby's whining because the baby doesn't have any words yet.
Oh,
if
so
the baby
now
had
you know
words,
what the baby you can read the baby's mind?
I'm telling you what the baby's doing. Yes, I'm doing that right now. When a baby cries, it has discomfort. It wants something because it's the only language it has right now, because it hasn't learned no other language. Mm-hmm. Now I agree with you about the learn stuff, right? But it doesn't have no other language. All the baby has is sound, right? And because it feels discomfort. And what we do when we hear parents, what we do when we hear that noise, we go rush because we know it's discomfort. We know that because we were once babies. That's why we understand that shit. You know what I'm saying? So we go in there, we'll figure out what's wrong. What's wrong? We do a whole vital fucking testing and shit. Oh, you wet? You wet? Your head hurt? Oh, you got a fever? Did you drop something on your arm or whatever? We're trying to figure out all that shit because we know what that sound means. Right? That's the baby giving us an alarm, telling us something is wrong with me that I do not fucking like. Now, let's go back to the other part. Babies will fucking grab some shit that they want, and we'll tell them like, no, you can't have that. Right?
Babies want everything.
They don't want everything. What
Yes,
babies
they do.
want is this. Babies want what they want. Every baby is different. So a baby can pick up that bottle right there just because it may want to be curious, right? It may just want to be curious to figure what the fuck that bottle is. Or a baby may taste a Snicker bar and just have a feeling like, I want to taste that Snicker bar again. So a baby is going to be able to go after the things that it wants for itself.
If you put anything in front of a baby, it will go and try to grab it.
Not every baby will. Not every baby will.
Many studies have been done, especially on their cognitive and their motor skills.
But your theory is based on a collective thing of all human beings.
Collective.
But you can't.
Medical
That is
studies,
wrong.
Journals.
That's wrong.
Medical journals.
That's wrong. That's wrong. You know
These
why
are
it's wrong?
studies. These are studies that have been done on many situations, different factors. There's been many studies.
Okay. You know why? That is
Taking all the factors into account.
But you can't take all the factors into account because every human being is different. You cannot put everybody in no circle and do no real study on them. You got to be able to study each individual. Each individual.
Yes,
now
they are studying individuals.
Man, no, that all that studying is fucking wrong. And I'm gonna tell you why it's wrong. It's because when a doctor does a study, just say we have 3 infants right now. Just say they all the same age, 8 months, right? Just say they're 8 months old, right? They're gonna do a study. All them babies are gonna be different. And then wait. And you know what's gonna happen?
There's gonna be many common factors.
Right. So what's gonna happen is the person that's gonna do the studying, when they got those 3 babies, right? Since it's an odd number, and it could be even, it doesn't even really fucking matter. What they're gonna do, they're gonna look at majority rules. So whatever babies are doing the same thing in that group, that's what's supposed to fucking happen. That baby that's doing something different, they're gonna say like that baby is something wrong with that baby. just because that baby's doing something different than what the majority is. That's what this American study is. It's not based on individuality of the child at all.
But
Majority
in order
rules.
for us to learn, right?
Mhm.
So many times we take common factors
Right.
of each child.
Right.
Because if we went, yes, every child is going to be different,
Right.
but at the same time, we have to look at the common factors so that we can actually collect information that is viable.
But common factors is not the way to do it.
Yes.
No, it's not. I'm gonna tell you this.
But they're always going to state their difference.
No, the differences are going to be bad
No.
based on how many people was
Not
in the
gonna be
circle with
bad.
commonality. Yes, it is. If you had 10 kids, right? You had 10 1-year-olds, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they make the same sound in communication, right? So that's where they get to study. That's why they say, like, when you get to that certain age of 4 years old, you're supposed to do certain shit. They doing that based on commonality. But if you don't learn how to say certain words at 4 years old, they're gonna say something is wrong with your ass. But it may not be nothing wrong with that child at all. That child
True.
may be able to. That
They
child is
just
probably
might
doing something
learn-
different than what those other kids are doing. So instead of speaking, it probably can run faster. Instead of speaking, it probably can do motor
True.
skills better,
They're
whatever like
always
that.
going to state that.
No, they're not.
They're going to state
they're
that
not.
they
No, they're
have
not.
to.
No, they're not.
They have to. It's part of the equation.
No, they're not going to. No, they're not.
Yes, there is.
They're not going to
the
say, like,
X
hey, this child
factors
cannot
and the
read
factors.
that good. They're not going to say this child cannot read that good, but
They have to
it
state
can.
everything. It's a study.
No, not if you're studying for reading. You're not going to be
Yeah.
studying for motor skills.
You're
No,
they're going
no,
to state
no,
everything that
no,
they're saying. It's
no, I don't believe
medical.
that. I
It's
don't
the
believe that.
same thing. It's the same
Not
thing.
the American, not the
as
American
if-
medical system. No.
How do you think we categorize? How do
Because
you
the,
think
the American medical
everything
system
from
is based
medical?
on capitalism anyway. They want to have deficiencies on your ass so they can get the pharmaceutical
But it's
companies
not a
to fucking pay for
deficiency.
it. Yeah, they want to label it as a deficiency. You're
No.
right. It's not a deficiency. They want to label it that.
When you
I'm trying to tell
come
you.
to kids, it's not a deficiency because everybody has a different attention span.
Right.
Everybody
I agree.
has a different learning
I agree.
speed.
I
right?
agree.
Okay. Also, how do I want to say? So, common factor is the ages. The X factors, right? That are different are going to be the learning speed. It's going to be also the that's why I lost my train of thought.
Oh, take your time.
Yeah.
Take your time. The
Stare-
learning speed. I'm gonna help you. The
staring me
learning
down.
speed. The learning speed. Factors. I can continue to speak. It may spark
no,
something in your
learning
brain. Go ahead.
speed.
United States don't do studies like that.
Yes,
They
they do.
put you all in a boat. They put you all in a circle.
No.
They try their best to put you all in a group.
No,
Yes, they do.
they do not. That's
They
why. That's why it's called a medical study.
They
right?
try to put you all in a
Medical
group.
journals.
Right.
I have
What is
read
a study?
many.
Okay, what is a study? A study is studying those kids, right? You say 5
Yes,
kids
but
again,
they
right?
have to state all differences and all similarities.
Mm-hmm.
They also have to state all the results, no matter if it's the same or not.
Then there would not be no age brackets
It's
of
an
when kids are supposed to do certain
observation.
shit.
It's an observation.
It wouldn't be no age brackets then. If that
There
was true.
is age brackets.
It shouldn't be.
There is.
It shouldn't
because
be.
they're taking similarities.
They
That's
say
what
you're supposed to
do
read
when
by a
you do
certain age.
study. You have your similarities, your common factors.
How do they come up with that? How do they come up with that? That you're supposed to read by a certain age.
But it doesn't say that that there's something wrong
There's a
with
reason
someone.
why that happened. Like, what is that reason? If all these medical studies is going on that you're talking about in America, right? Why are they saying that you have to read by a certain age? And if you don't read by that certain age, you need to be in a special class, or some other teacher needs to help you, or something. You're not performing on a high level because what they did was they studied all these people and the majority won, right?
Mm-hmm.
They studied all these people, hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people over time,
How
right?
do you think we're supposed to study and learn if you don't have some common factors and you have some X factors? How do you?
What needs to happen, if I was a medical professional, right? I wouldn't judge it based on language and speaking. I would judge it based on communication. right? Some kids communicate different than kids that actually speak. There's nonverbal communication, right? Some kids can say like, "Hey, I want that bottle right there," and speak it, right? Some kids won't say that word and walk up to you and grab your hand and point to the bottle. You see what I'm saying? It's still communication.
It's still communication,
right.
but you're a human. You have to learn how to communicate effectively with
See,
the whole,
that's the problem.
The whole society.
That's the problem right there.
Oh, really?
That is the problem right there that you just said. That's wrong with the American medical system right now. Because you're not supposed to. You're not
so if a child doesn't talk, then you just let them be and you just
what I'm saying is
up to talking?
No, what I'm saying is that child is going to learn that talking does what? Talking is telling you that you want something or you need something, right? Now, if a kid is able to show you that same thing without speaking, what is wrong with that other kid? Okay. Nothing, because it does the same thing that the other kid did, but just didn't talk.
That child to talk.
No, what I'm saying is that child is going to learn how to talk when it wants to talk.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't need a certain specified time, right? You know what I'm saying? Child one, right? Chris, we're gonna call him Chris. Chris can talk, right? And ask for that bottle. What's the purpose of asking for that bottle? He wants to drink, right? Now, Susan, right, cannot talk, but she will point her finger and take your arm to get that bottle and tell you that she wants to drink. Now, what happens? You have nonverbal and verbal, but it's solved the same motherfucking thing. They both are drinking right now, right? So Susan is going to learn how to talk eventually, right? It's going to probably take her longer, but Susan actually still got what she wanted. She don't need words.
But
you see what I'm saying?
She's a human.
But she doesn't need words. Every human being doesn't need words to communicate. That just because you don't use words to communicate does not make you less of a human.
No, but we want our children to.
Because you're taught that way. You're taught that way in society.
Your children to talk.
We're taught because we're conditioned to think that way.
So we should just not teach our kids to talk.
Nobody said you shouldn't teach them to talk. What I'm saying is you're supposed to let the child. It's about communication. That's what it's really about. It's about communication. The ability to communicate with another human being. Now you have to understand, back in the ancient days, they didn't have any fucking words. So what did they do? They made sounds and they did symbols and wrote shit and used shit with their hands, right? That a child can go back. Now listen, a child can go back genetically back to the old time and not be able to talk like that. When you hear kids like all that type of stuff, talking a little bit like that, that doesn't mean necessarily something's wrong with that child. That child could be speaking in another language that you don't even know right now in America.
How do you expect them to be able to communicate effectively in the society, with all the kids around?
Right, they're going to communicate effectively based on how they communicate.
Okay.
Now,
and then what's going to happen is they're not going to be able to communicate effectively.
Why not?
No, because these kids are talking and these kids are not.
So what? So
then they're going to get picked on.
Now that's another problem. That's another problem within the school system.
Oh my gosh, we're going around in circles.
No, you can't pick on the kid because it does. That's the whoa. No. No, we're not going around in circles. We are this. This is the beauty of our brains. This is why our intelligence is this way, because we're able to do that shit. Now. Okay, you're not exhausted.
Yeah.
Don't bow out now.
I'm exhausted.
This is the problem.
You're talking so much. You're going in all these different directions.
I'm not.
And that's what you're trying to do.
No, I'm not.
You are very good at talking to people.
We're on another subject.
But at the same time, we're not on another subject. We're completely over here when we started here.
That's another subject. That's another completely subject, a whole different subject right now.
You're trying to keep talking in circles
until
someone gets exhausted.
Or anybody.
That's
no. If you're listening to what I'm saying, a child who communicates non-verbally,
but you're not supporting your argument.
Right? Yes, I am.
No.
Because you don't have to be able to talk to get shit done. People who use sign language and can't talk and get shit done.
Right.
All right. So it's like you can.
How does that affect their life?
It affects their life based on what their life is. You know what I'm saying? It's based on the individual child. Just because the child can't talk like that kid, that's what I'm saying. They're going to think something's wrong with that other kid because it doesn't do the same thing.
Okay. So when your child doesn't talk,
right?
Are you going to be okay with that?
I'm going to be okay with it until it learns how to talk.
Oh.
right?
But what if he
but
doesn't?
let me finish. You asked
So
me a
you're not
question.
you're gonna just wait for him to know how to talk.
I'm
right?
going to look at it like this.
You're
This
not
what
gonna teach him.
this is what I'm going to look at, right? If my child comes out and it cannot talk right away, I feel like it's going to talk eventually, right?
Mm-hmm.
It may not be able to talk in the time frame that America says it should talk.
So what if he's 18?
If he's 18, he still can't talk.
Yeah.
But can he communicate effectively to get what he wants? I'm not tripping.
Oh, so, and that's okay, and you're gonna be okay with everything
Yeah.
that happens to that child.
No, what you mean? Now,
Through
if something
with
happens to that child, it's
society.
because it's unrighteous people
Mhm.
in America
With society.
that's treating that child differently because it's not doing the same thing as the other kids who can talk. That's discrimination
What
right
is
there.
wrong with pushing your kids to actually learn to be effective in society?
Nothing's wrong with that. Nothing's wrong with pushing your kid to do nothing effective. But what's wrong? What's wrong is pushing a kid to do something that it necessarily doesn't want to do based on what his purpose and path
Well,
is.
I didn't want to sew when I
Okay.
was younger.
Okay.
Should I have been pushed to do it?
I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
I didn't want to do it, but guess what? I was pushed to sew. I was pushed to cook. I was pushed to clean.
Okay.
I was pushed to do many things.
Those are duties.
No, they were not duties.
And another thing
They
too.
were-
No. Wait.
They were skills. They were skills.
I'm gonna tell you why I said
no,
that.
they were skills, and I did not want to do them. And
You know
guess
why?
what? No, I did not want to. Let me finish.
Okay, I'm going to
I did not want to do them, but yet I was taught to do them so that I would be able to live effectively out in society and also be able to have a job and also be able to feed myself.
Okay.
And clean up after myself so I don't get diseases and everything with germs and all that. Everything is effectively.
Okay. So I'm answering your question to that. Okay.
But I didn't want to.